Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's Damon with Rebooking SummerSlam 1998, and this time is gonna be fun as well. And like I know in real life there was like 8 matches, maybe some of them would count on eight. I would have forgo eight. I would have just gone to SummerSlam, and yeah, I would have kept the match in Square Garden because it always adds something. So I would have started. I felt like the lightweight title was not treated the respect it deserves, so I would have a lightweight title match between Taka Michinoku suppose take on Essa Rios, who was Mr. Aguila or Papi Chulo back in the day. And we'll basically talk us in the ring. He just turned heel. He's with Kind Tai now. And you think, okay, what's happening? Essa Rios is down the back. Who's going to take his place? And this is where you hear the team song, oh, be ready. Oh. And everybody knows that it's a Gangrel team song, but it's like, what the hell is this? And you see, it's a guy named Christian. He's just named Christian. At first, you don't know who it is. But he wins via the Unpredictor, which is a skill switch. 1, 2, 3. In his first match to win the lightweight title, people wonder who's that guy? Who's that guy? And it's shown in the crowd that Edge was looking at it. Edge is like basically perplexed. He still, in that case, doesn't talk, but he's perplexed, like so we don't know what's happening. So as soon as basically as Christian goes celebrating the crowd, they both have a stare down moment, and we don't know what's happening there. So nothing is said. We're just there to imply what's happening. Second match of the night. Taka Kaintai. Kaintai goes to ringside right away to consult Taka Michinoku. They ill in the crowd until they remember they have a match at SummerSlam and their match is right now against the Oddities. Kaintai squashed them. 1, 2, 3. For the European title, I will have D'Lo Brown take on Val Venis versus Jeff Jarrett versus X-Pac. X-Pac, X-Pac. And yeah, I would have a basically that match because I felt I would have, since I know in real life, like Jeff Jarrett wanted a haircut, basically it was a loser, basically gets his hair versus hair, and you can have your Russo-ific match, in which case all 4 men hate each other, and it's basically a European title match where the loser, the person getting pinned, has to get his head shaved. So for that purpose, I know damn well Jeff Jarrett is going to be the one pinned, but by whom? Val Venis? No. So between D'Lo was going to retain title or X-Pac. I would have X-Pac win the European title on that night for a good reason. X-Pac wins by pinning Jeff Jarrett, and D'Lo Brown is livid out ringside. He says the champion of Europe. He represents all the country. He says, I'm a representative of Italy. I'm a representative of France. I cannot have this charade happen. I'm an educated man. He's not. You have Val Venis being angry at ringside, holding basically his neck. Jeff Jarrett gets head shaved. And yeah. Then you have LOD teaming up, in this case. You have LOD teaming up in an handicap match against the Harris twins and Paul Ellering. LOD wins. And you have Gangrel take on Bob Ollie. This is just a match, put him in. Gangrel wins after 5 minutes with his Impale DDT. Vader versus JBL. I know in real life, like that was a match at In Your House Breakdown. I would have it here. And I would have it to be last match of Vader. And I would have JBL wins. Like it'd be like 7 minutes or so. Then you have the mixed tag match. Like in real life, it's Mark Merrow and Jacqueline versus Sable and her mystery partner, who ends up being Edge. So, not Eddie Guerrero was I think was sometimes it was a tease that maybe would leave WWE. No. You have Edge and Sable versus Mark Merrow and Jacqueline. Edge wins by pinning Mark Merrow. Then you have Jerry Lawler and Too Cool. After all those months, they were taunting Al Snow because Al Snow wants a meeting with McMahon. And I remember in real life, all of a sudden, Al Snow somehow got his job back out of nowhere, despite losing King of the Ring. I would have basically Al Snow make a last-ditch effort at his job. But Jerry Lawler says, you already had your tag team match with Too Cool. You're not getting another tag team match with them. It says, how about you? Al Snow basically says, how about you? I can have Al Snow, myself, and Head team up. And they say, yeah, well, okay, Jerry Lawler and Too Cool said, I don't mind facing Al Snow and Ed. It could be an handicap match. And Commissioner Slaughter, in one of his rare time as a face in 1998, could say, that's not a tag team match. He needs proper tag team partners. And this is where he gets Al Snow teams up with the recent successful team of Farouk and Too Cold Scorpio, and they face off against Jerry Lawler and Too Cool. And this is the match that Al Snow wins by doing the snowplow to Scott Taylor, and he pins him 1, 2, 3 to gain his job. And basically, it starts the alliance with Al Snow and Scorpio. Then we do have a Lions Den match with the King of the Ring, Ken Shamrock, but it's not going to be a singles match. Ken Shamrock team up with Steve Blackman against Owen Hart and Dan Severn. Dan the Beast Severn. And it's a more, I would have it be more even Steven match, because in real life I felt like Ken Shamrock dominated. I couldn't see why, but in a tag team match it would be more clement, more balanced. And it would seem like Owen Hart's about to win. He was gonna take a steel pipe to basically in the Lions Den to try to attack Ken Shamrock, but Steve Blackman comes back with kendo stick, hits Owen the belly with them, and then delivers his pump kick. But the pump kick, it delivers a pump kick to Owen, who still has the lead pipe, who by mistake hits Dan Severn, and Dan Severn decides at this match, never mind, I'm out, and leaves the cage, which sees Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman preying on Owen Hart, who's at the mercy of both. Owen tries another thing, like basically he's wondering, where are you going? Where are you going? He turns around, gets a pump kick into a belly-to-belly suplex, then gets the ankle lock, and you can have Owen Hart either tap out or pass out. So I would have him basically pass out in this case. Show the basically dangerous level, the ankle lock there. Then, in the World Tag Team title match, you have Kane and Mankind, despite will they be there for each other, yes or no, versus New Age Outlaws, Godfather and Mark Henry versus Ed Banger. Still have Kane disappear. He's not there. He's not there. But it's a street fight match, and it still leads to the Outlaws pinning Mankind for the win. Then the main event and the penultimate match, like in real life, you have for a ladder match. For the IC title, you have Rock defending against Triple H, and you have Triple H use China's interference. Actually, I would have China's interference this time. I would have actually, because I thought he was unbearable. Like Trick Williams unbearable right now, winning all his matches to Lil Yachty, but being paired as a face. Where honestly, Trick Williams is like one of the eels. Like now, that's just like the bloodline. Maybe that's me watching current WB and feeling how frustrating it is that two of people who are obviously eels are being booked as face. Bloodline keeps turning, basically act like complete eels and dickheads, and people like LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, probably Drew McIntyre when comes back, and Royce Keys are not supposed to rebel against them. Never thought I'd say this, but Solo Sikoa is kind of the face there, as well as LA Knight, but can you book him as eels? Oh yeah, yeah. It's not just, I know that sometimes, oh, it's shades of gray. It working out to the era. In real life, even in movies, nobody wants to say, hey, you know what? We don't know who's the bad guy between Batman and Joker. Oh, between Randall Patrick McMurphy and Nurse Ratched, or between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Like, pick a side that's a face, pick a side that's eel, and stick with it. You can then make them nuanced, but they're still eels. The bloodline can still be seen as eel. You can basically show them as Usos and Fatu are being pressured by the elders to remain with their family with Roman Reigns if you don't want to lose your spot here, and not just at the table, in your family. Like mention family honor. If you don't do what Romans say, you're out of family. I'm renouncing you as basically you could have Rikishi come back and say, I'm renouncing you as your father. Like you have fatherly pressure on them. And that's the reason why they do this. You have established there, fatherly pressure. And basically say this own Solo Sikoa a while ago. And yeah. And you could have basically, on the same end, you could have Aku pressuring, like Fatu and Aku and Tonga Kid could basically be the elders and basically mention that, hey, you know what? If you don't reunite with the bloodline, consider yourself out of the family. We won't attack you. We won't deal with you. We won't attack you. We won't beef with you. We'll have beef with you, but we'll not help you. We will not even recognize you in public. And that's very important for people in terms of family views, family ties. And you could say that's the reason. It's beyond money. That's beyond main event spot. That's the reason why they do this. And Roman manipulated all of this for his own gain. He used to do it for the money. He used to do it for the top spot, but now he does it to make sure that it's not just him for his spot to manipulate him. It's if I don't get what I want, you're out of the family. You're not just gonna not get rich. You're just gonna be out of the family, out of this. How about that? And I just booked a bloodline angle just straight out of my ass in 2 minutes. Now again, going back to Trick Williams. If Trick Williams has to be a serious face, Lil Yachty has to turn on him and team up with Ricky Saints. And Trick Williams, because basically he doesn't have to basically all of a sudden be apologetic for everything he's done, but show a bit more compassion, be this, okay, I should have done better, I should have seen it happen. That's my my major fault. I allowed a guy like Lil Yachty turn me into an asshole. Basically, kind of reunite with Carmelo Hayes and say, you know what? I apologize for that, but will not apologize in my quest to get back the United States title. So watch out. Things like that. And already there, right there, you establish them as a face, a true face. The Beast trying to make too many things, too many justified eels, but it only works right now. Only have one or two justified eels. If every eel is justified right now, they're not eels. If every movie did like Falling Down with Michael Douglas and be the bad guy of the movie, then guess what? They wouldn't be the bad guys anymore. Falling Down, Joker. I mean, how many movies where you see the basically law-abiding citizen? How many movies that you see that basically you can see the eels is kind of, you know what? It's justifying the viewpoint they got. It's the actions they do that's not justified. And if you do this for every eel, it's not compelling stories. It's too much. It's like, then why are they the eels? Why weren't you cheering for them? Like Sami Zayn was kind of an underdog, but even his points, like Christian, it's like not be whining, but it's like if it was Roman Reigns, would you book him as a world title to defend the world title match 1 week later? Like he's right. Plus, it's also the SmackDown, the top price of SmackDown should have been a SmackDown title match, and he was on Raw. He had no business there, and he's right. Now, I hope that plays into the booking, but again, Trick Williams and Bloodline being face are stupid, especially when both of them use interference to win. Same I thought with Triple H China. China should have just been to counter interference. In this case, you could have plenty. You could have Mark Merrow, sorry, you could have Godfather and D'Lo Brown interfere, and this is where basically China interferes. You could have X-Pac come back to help him. X-Pac, basically the old nation tries to interfere, including Owen, but X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws come out and they have the belt intact and they help out to face off against the interference. There's one remaining. It might be either Godfather Mark Henry, but China takes care of it, and that leads to China takes care of it. However, at the same time, you could have basically when she tries to help Triple H, Rock basically shoves Triple H in China, and China falls outside. Basically, doing that inadvertently, she does a plunge shot to Mark Henry, so taking everybody out. And that leads to Rock and Triple H being forced to battle it out. Triple H, despite me not liking him, delivers a pedigree on Rock on the basically on the standing ladder. So basically, it's like his face would hit one wrong, and that leads Triple H climbing up and winning the IC title. And you have the basically picture perfect angle of Triple H with the IC title, raising his hand to X-Pac, the European champion, raising the hands of the New Age Outlaws, the World Tag Team Champions. That's how you get the new DX over. And I know they were already over, but even more over. And in the World Title main event, you have, sorry, I'm going to pervert purity now, looks like. You have Stone Cold Steve Austin defending the WWE title against, like in real life, The Undertaker. And I don't see why Austin, when he reviewed this match, he see how match wasn't really good in that match. It was a pretty good match. It wasn't the best Austin match, but it was pretty good. But the way I booked it, maybe Austin would have been, there would have been the injury of SummerSlam 97. So there'd be more technical abilities while still some brawling. But it still would lead to Austin getting a semi-clean win over The Undertaker. Because I didn't feel like Undertaker should have won there. And Austin would have won. Low blow after old school, but we basically make sure that this is justified because earlier in the match, Taker would have tried a low blow on Austin to turn the tide. So this time it's just turn around fair play. In this case, low blow during old school, wham, stunner, 1, 2, 3. And that's all what I've booked SummerSlam 98. Let me know what you think down below. And sorry if I have to rant about current supposed baby face like the Bloodline Trick Williams, but this needs to be said. Truth needs to be told. So, peace, guys.